and the silence is broken only by the song of cicadas, there stood a lonely ranch. There, surrounded by dry trees and dusty paths, lived a humble family. Juan, the only son, was a young man with a difficult character. Though his face still showed youth, his heart was full of rage, pride, and selfishness. He knew neither humility nor gratitude, and acted as if the world owed him everything. His parents were simple people. The father went out every day under the scorching sun, hunting or cultivating what little the land provided. The mother kept the home in order, preparing meals and caring for every corner. But Juan appreciated none of it. He looked down on his family, as if their efforts were worthless. He wanted more, always more, without lifting a finger to earn it. His eyes were hard, his voice impatient, and his heart growing colder with each day. In that isolated ranch, something dark began to grow inside him. One hot afternoon, as the sun disappeared behind the trees and the cicadas filled the air with their eternal song, Juan returned home with a scowl and an empty stomach. Without greeting anyone, he kicked the door open and shouted in a burst of rage, "I want venison for dinner! Go on, old man, go hunt me one." His father, exhausted from a long day in the wild, looked at him with sadness. His skin was weathered by the sun, and his hands worn from hard work. In a gentle voice, he tried to reason. "Son, hunting is difficult today. Nothing is easy to find." But Juan wouldn't listen. "I don't care," he shouted furiously. "If you can't bring me venison, what good are you?" A heavy silence fell. Without protest, the father grabbed his machete and walked into the forest. For hours, he wandered through dry branches and growing shadows, searching for something, anything. But luck never came. When he returned empty-handed, tragedy was already waiting at home. As the father stepped over the threshold with nothing to offer, Juan was boiling with fury. He stared at him with contempt, as if his failure were a personal insult. His face turned red, his fists clenched. "You're useless," he roared, blinded by hatred. Without giving him a chance to speak, Juan grabbed a thick stick resting near the door and lifted it violently. He struck with unrestrained fury. Once, twice, 3 times. The old man collapsed, but Juan didn't stop. He kept hitting until the body lay motionless and silence took over the ranch. Only his heavy breathing remained, along with the nighttime chirping of crickets. Then, with chilling calm, he dragged his father's body into the kitchen. There, in shadow and wood, he dismembered it as if it were no more than an animal. Later, when dinner was served, his mother tasted the meat and frowned. "What is this, Juan?" she asked, a shiver crawling down her spine. He only stared at her, with a crooked, dark smile. Seeing her son's twisted expression and realizing the horror of what she had eaten, the mother dropped her utensils with a crash. She stood up trembling, eyes wide in disbelief, her soul shattered. "What have you done, Juan?" "Curse you!" she cried, voice broken by sobs. Raising her hands to the sky, heart torn apart, she cast a curse that froze the night. "For this unforgivable sin, you shall wander forever. You will carry your father's bones until the end of time." The wind will be your only companion, and your whistle the omen of your doom." Silence fell once again. That very night, Juan's grandfather arrived at the ranch, guided by dark premonitions. Upon discovering the scene, he said not a word. He took an old whip and, with ancestral fury, lashed Juan over and over until his skin bore the scars. Then, without a glance back, he handed him a sack made of coarse fabric. "Here, boy," he said firmly. "You will carry your father's bones, step by step, so you never forget what you've done." And so his curse began. From the moment he received the sack of bones, Juan ceased to be a man. Something inside him broke forever. His once human face grew long and distorted. His body became thin, almost skeletal, as if guilt had hollowed him out from within. Over time, his figure became terrifying. Tall as a dried-out tree, thin like a snapped branch, with a presence that chilled the air. No one saw his face again, hidden beneath a wide-brimmed hat that cast shadows even in full moonlight. But the most disturbing thing was not his appearance. It was the whistle that followed him. A sad, cold, piercing sound that floated through the air like an eternal lament. No matter the hour or place, if you heard that whistle, you knew something was terribly wrong. He was no longer Juan. He was now El Silbón, a condemned soul doomed to wander without rest, carrying the bones of his father as punishment for his unholy crime. And his legend was only just beginning. Since then, El Silbón has never walked in silence. Wherever he goes, a chilling whistle goes before him. Long, sharp, and mournful, like the cry of a broken spirit. It is his signature, his warning, his curse made sound. But the most terrifying part of his whistle is how it deceives. It works in reverse. If you hear it loud and near, you can breathe a little easier. For it means he's still far away, stalking from the shadows. But if the whistle sounds faint, like a distant echo, that's when you must truly fear. It means El Silbón is right behind you, following you, creeping up, ready to strike. Many have tried to run when they hear the sound, but few succeed. His whistle doesn't just confuse the senses. It breaks the mind, unravels the soul, traps the victim in a twisted game of fear and confusion. And so El Silbón roams the plains, unseen but always present, leaving behind only silence, bones, and death. The whistle not only marks his presence, it also signals his choice. El Silbón does not strike at random. He follows a dark purpose, seeking out womanizers, drunkards, and abusers, those who live in excess and disrespect for others. He stalks them in silence, disturbing their thoughts with his ghostly whistle. They run, stumble, beg, but the sound never stops. It weaves closer and farther, until their minds finally snap. Then, when they are broken, lost, and alone, El Silbón appears. Tall and skeletal, with his sack of brittle bones on his back, and eyes that burn like embers from hell. No one survives to tell what happens next. Only rumors remain, bodies found twisted in fear, and the fading echo of a whistle lost in the morning wind. El Silbón's punishment is not just death, it's the torment that comes before it. Though his presence chills the blood and his wrath seems inescapable, the old ones say there are ways to protect yourself from El Silbón. It's said that blessed objects, such as a rosary or crucifix, can ward him off. His cursed spirit cannot bear what is holy. Animals can sense him, too. Dogs bark wildly when he is near, and the crow of a rooster at dawn forces him to vanish into the mist. Some claim that offering him tobacco may calm him, as if the thick smoke provides some strange relief from his eternal suffering. But above all, the strongest protection is living a righteous life. El Silbón doesn't chase just anyone. He hunts those who, like he once did, live in selfishness, sin, and cruelty. The darker your soul, the closer his whistle will be. In the end, the greatest shield against El Silbón is a clean conscience. El Silbón is more than a terrifying figure from the folklore of the plains. He is the embodiment of the consequences of selfishness, unchecked rage, and a heart devoid of compassion. His story reminds us that reckless actions leave eternal scars, and that hatred can devour a man until only a monster remains. Juan, blinded by fury and contempt, lost his humanity. Now he wanders without rest, burdened with the bones of the father he destroyed, condemned to be the living memory of his own sin. Night after night, his whistle drifts across the fields as a somber warning. No one sees him approach. Only the wind is heard, and that sharp, sorrowful sound that freezes the soul. El Silbón is out there, in dark corners, in life's worst decisions, in hearts that forget how to love. And if you ever find yourself in the open plains, beneath a starry sky and an eerie silence, don't stop. Because if you hear a whistle, it may already be too late.